to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today is What Would Lou Do? The show where I answer your questions. If you have a question for me, please send it to luannigara.com/WWLD. Today's show is sponsored by J-Pour Living. Have you opened your trade account at J-Pour Living yet? You should do this today if you haven't done it. Go to jpourliving.com. That's JAIPUR living.com/Luann. And the next thing after you do that is I'd like you to spend some time on the J-Pour Living website. J-Pour has built this site with you in mind, from real-time stock information to price quotes on custom sizes and colors to same-day memos going directly to you and your client. Quality, beautiful, handmade rugs, delivered, displayed efficiently, easily, and with attention to care for your needs as you run your interior design firm. Go to jpourliving.com/Luann to get started today. All right. Today's question is from Griffin Dorner. Griffin says, "Hi, I'm pregnant, due in October. I'm really struggling knowing how to prepare to take a maternity leave when I'm the only one in my business. So obviously, I will need to be able to keep my hand on some projects, but any tips on how to prepare and how to balance time would be appreciated. I'm so nervous about it because I don't want to miss out on precious time with my baby, but I also don't want my business to crumble." So Griffin, here's the first thing I want to tell you. You know me. You know I'm all about running a profitable business. You know I'm all about locking it down and having the systems and the processes and everything in place and how important it is. But I also want you to know that I really feel, I'll share my personal opinion and clarify it as that. Once you make the decision to be a parent, I think that is one of the most important things that you can do. Way more important than what anything you could do connected to your business is. And so you've now made that decision to be a parent. And when you said, I also, I don't want to miss out precious time with my baby, I know that maybe you fully understand that right now, or maybe you're saying those words because we've all said it before you, and you know that it's a thing, right? But it's a real thing. It's a real thing to spend precious time with your baby. So I do want you to be completely prepared so that your baby is your first priority. Your baby and your family, your relationship with your husband, right? This is a moment in time, and it doesn't come back. And every moment in time for the rest of your life with your child doesn't come back, but especially these times because, there's a podcast out there and the title of the podcast is, what is the title of the podcast, Luann? The Longest Shortest Time. That's what it is. The longest, shortest time. Think about it. Until, Griffin, you have been through even 1 month, 1 week of motherhood, you will not understand the full depth of the longest, shortest time. The first night that your little baby spends crying, all night, half the night, part of the night, it will be the longest night of your life. But a week, 2 weeks, 2 months from now, it will be a distant memory. So I want you definitely set up your business to survive this, right? Because that's what it's going to take. But understand that don't feel guilty. Don't think the business means more than your baby means. That's from my heart, and that's how I feel. And the business will survive, and the business may take a stumble, but your priority is there. All right. So, however, we want to have our business survive, right? So what will we do? What should you do? What do I think you should do? All right. First, I want you to think about and talk to yourself about what will you do and will you not do during maternity leave, right? So are you going to be on call daily, weekly, never? Think about that for yourself first. What do you want? And if you're not sure, maybe you have a mom or a sister or a trusted friend that's been through having a baby before, and maybe you can ask them about their experiences. What was it like for them? Everybody processes this differently. So I will tell you that even your own mom will have had a different experience with raising you as you will have raising your baby. And so my point is to gather information and gather opinions and listen to your inner voice. What is the best thing for you? And you're not going to know it until you do it, but I want you to gather that information. What will you do and what will you not do during maternity leave? What is your ideal? What would you like to do? Would you like to check out for 3 months? Would you like to be checked in once a week, once a day, once whatever? Right? So have that little thought with yourself, and then also give yourself the grace for having the ability and the prerogative to change your mind a minute into having your baby. But at least have the conversation to see what you think you would want it to be like. All right? Then what I want you to do is review all of your projects, your current projects that you have going on, and what can you do to set them up. Like right now, it's, what is it, July? So the baby is several months off. What's that? August, September, October, 3 months off, right? Can you intentionally tie out as many projects as you can to complete, right? That's what I would be. I would be like, I know you're tired now and you're getting to that point in your pregnancy where you're really exhausted and you have less gas than you normally did, but I would be running full guns right now to try out as many projects to completion as I could, because as tired as you are carrying that little baby inside of you, it's not the same as when the baby is outside of you, okay? So, number one, evaluate all of your projects in the pipeline and do everything you can not to waste a minute to tie them out to completion, all right? Then the other thing I want you to do is review all of your finances, any invoices, any recurring payments, everything from if you are a member of My Doma Studio, all the way to your life insurance policies and your car insurance policies, if you're the one that handles those things in your personal life, all the way to business licenses and, whatever, CPA payments. Just right now, while you have a moment of clarity, review it all, make sure everything is on auto pay at the exact amount, or you have the protocols in motion to get the notifications that you need, that you will notice, that you will pay attention to during the increments that you need them. All right? So it's sort of like if you pay attention to it now, 3, 4, 5 months from now, November, December, you're like, I'm worried about this, but I don't have to be worried about it because I actually paid attention to it and I know it's taken care of. Okay. Now, the other thing you have to think about is any of the projects that are completed before your beautiful baby is born is what happens with any deficiency phone calls. So you complete a project in September, but November they call and say XYZ is going on. How is that going to be handled? I want you to think about that. Will you handle that conversation? Is there a colleague that you can call and, whatever? And not even how is it ultimately going to be handled, but how is the phone call going to be received? Because I know a lot of solo entrepreneurs, their cell phone is the communication device between them and their clients. So we don't want your cell phone to be the communication device between you and your clients when you're on maternity leave. So I know there's things like Google phones and Google apps. You know me. I don't know the technology. But there are ways that you can field these calls, accept them, screen them, and deal with them. So we want deficiency phone calls to make it through to whoever is dealing with this. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be a 2-week period where there's no such thing as a design emergency because Griffin had a baby, right? So it could be that there's a way message that says, I've just had a baby and I'm not going to talk to you for 2 weeks, right? But beyond that, when it becomes more basically presumable that you might be in touch, what is that protocol? Is it going to hunt to another line where you capture the voicemail messages and you ultimately review them once a day, once every 3 days, whatever it is? But the point is, you're going to be using your cell phone for the happy times. People, your friends, your loved ones are going to be calling you, and you don't want to mistake a friend call for a deficiency phone call the 3rd, 4th day that your baby's on the planet, because your brain's not going to work. Your brain's not going to function. You're not going to want to do it. Promise you, you're not going to want to do it. I'm a crazy worker person, and I'm sorry. There's a moment where you're going to take with your child, okay? So think about that protocol. And in that same light is what happens to new work inquiries, people that have heard about you through social media, through a referral, whatever it may be. How are they going to reach you? And I would want it to be the same channel, whatever you set up, okay? But it should be there should be, you might actually say, I'm on maternity leave and I'm very, very, very interested in exploring a new project with you. And this is the date that I'm taking new inquiry phone. I'm returning new inquiry phone calls. So the baby, let's say she is born October 1st, and you might say, Thank you for your inquiry into my business, and I totally want to understand about your scope and your project and look forward to a response from me after November 20th or December 1st. And I understand fully if you have a time-sensitive project that you may move on to another interior designer. All good, all great, in the hood. Don't worry about it, right? We're going to let that go. Unless, by the way, because I have no idea if you've set up a protocol for a colleague to get projects started in your absence, because you might be thinking, I'm only going to take an 8-week or a 12-week or whatever it is. So think it through is all it is. And the idea here is whatever you decide is fine, but what's not fine is somebody calls and they don't know what it is. So you can decide what it is, but put the parameters on it and let everyone know what it is, okay? And then in that same line is email and phone inquiries, like regular phone inquiries and regular emails. What are you going to do with those? Are you putting an away message on? Because you're a solo, right? So if you weren't a solo, there'd be other people fielding all of this stuff. But as a solo, will you just have your email say, thanks so much for reaching out to Griffin Dorner. However, I'm so happy to announce that I am expecting a baby in a week, and these emails will not be addressed for 8 weeks or 10 weeks. The idea is just do what you want to do. Do what you want to do, because what you want to do is what you should do, and the only thing is that it's communicated to the people that come in. You see, if somebody comes into your system and they just get the typical message, hi, it's Griffin Dorner, thanks so much, leave your message at the beep, I'll call you back, and they don't hear from you for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, that's not good. But if they hear, hi, this is Griffin Dorner, I've just had a baby and I'll be back December 1st, whatever, right? So you are setting up what you will do and what you won't do. I love it. All right. Now, if you have a social media presence, I would think about hiring out. You've got Wingnut Social. Do not forget about Darla Powell and Wingnut Social. So if you have some social media presence established, my own daughter runs my social media, and she had a baby this past February 2020, and Wingnut Social ran my social media from February until May seamlessly. Okay? So it can be done with little involvement on your part, okay? So what's great is it's July. You have weeks and weeks to set up a protocol with whether it be Wingnut Social, which obviously I highly recommend, or somebody else. And you can give them the pictures and the content, and they can learn your voice and all of that stuff. And then, like for me, when she was out, they did the big thing, the big post and all that stuff. And then when your baby is sleeping, you can still be the person who answers the social media comments and stuff, just like I do. I answer my comments, okay? But you don't have that pressure of what's the post on Thursday? What does it say? Where's the graphic? What does it look like? What are the hashtags, right? So if you have a social media presence that you don't want to slip on, look to make moves now to have someone start to understand your point of view, your brand, your voice, and get it lined up. And the same with the newsletter. If you have any sort of newsletter that goes client-facing, I would personally, because this is such a personal experience to have a baby, and you do have so much time, I would take the time now to create those blog posts myself. So if you have a newsletter, that means you're creating writing and you're speaking to your audience, whether it's 10 customers, 10 clients, or 300 or 3,000. If you have been communicating with them on a regular basis through a newsletter, take the time now and just dream a little bit and imagine, I've just had a baby and this is what I'm going through and blah, blah, blah. And then, give them, because it's October, give them a post. Maybe I'm not really around right now, but I'm with my baby and I'm looking at the fall colors changing. And, I'm still on maternity leave, but I'm busy preparing for our child's first Thanksgiving. And here's some tips on Thanksgiving decor. Whatever. You hear me? You can put yourself in the moment and make something. If you've been doing newsletter, my guess is it's a personal one. So I think you can put 4 or 5 blog posts in the can that you imagine what it's like as you go through the October through New Year's season with your baby in your new family, right? And schedule them via Hootsuite or give them to the social media team that you hire to put out on your behalf, okay? So this, the only other thing I would just absolutely stress is go back to the finances. Make sure that that part is locked down so that you're not waking up in the middle of the night wondering if your car payment is made, if it's made through your business, if your taxes are made, paid, and blah, 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 right? And then the last and final thing that I would say to you is if you're lucky enough to have your mom or your mother-in-law around or a sister or somebody that you really could, it could even be your husband, depending on what his work life is like. Maybe you set a time aside 1 day a week from maybe the second week that your baby's on the planet. Or that might be Luann Crazy Pants thinking, and maybe it's the 4th week your baby's on the planet. But that you just say, for example, every Monday from 8:30 a.m. until 2 p.m., my husband has full control, full responsibility for our baby, or my mom comes, or my mother-in-law comes, or my sister comes, or my best friend comes. And if you have that luxury, it might be that you just say, on those hours, I go into my office, I review the emails that are coming in, I review the things that need attention, I ignore the things that don't, I just take a look at my bank accounts, I take a look at my finances, and I just lock it down every week. And it might be that you mostly are monitoring and not necessarily doing, but what I can tell you is if you could even 9 to 12, do that, then you can be fully present all the other hours of the week that you are engaging in your new role as a mom, right? And I don't know if you have that luxury. Not everybody does. It's 100% sure that that is a luxury. But if there is a way to work that into your life because your business is important to you, otherwise you wouldn't have reached out and emailed me on it, then I feel like in a controlled, like during these hours, I have, entrepreneur hat on, and it frees you for all the other hours to just be the mom to this new, brand new little human being that you are building right now in your belly and is coming out into the world. Okay? It is a very special time. Don't underestimate it. It goes quickly. We all say that to you, but it is true. It does go quickly. So I hope that this was helpful, Griffin, and I hope that, there's something in here that resonates with you and makes you feel good about, even though it's a little scary to manage a business on your own as you face this maternity period, that you understand that the bigger mission is this little person on your way, and your business will survive any bump. Even the most irate client is not anywhere near as important as this little person, okay? And you have a lot of years to make up the ground for possibly whatever comes on the business side of it, all right? So sending you lots of love and hugs and health and everything else with your new baby coming. And I would love for you to share with us if you have a boy or a girl and how it works out for you. Maybe in January or February, you reach out to me when you might come up for air and let me know how you manage having a baby and being a solo entrepreneur. I would like to know exactly how you handled it, as opposed to, imagining how you might handle it, right? Maybe you would have some insight for another designer who will be facing it and going through it, and you could say some actionable, real life, like, okay, Lou, you gave me all of these great ideas, but this is the thing that really mattered, right? So, all right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this was helpful to you in particular, Griffin. If there's any of you out there also facing this, that would be an interesting coincidence. But sending you tons of hugs and love, Griffin, for a healthy, safe, happy baby and a healthy delivery. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate that you tune in and that you listen. It's tomorrow. You've got Ashley Uhl up. Ashley Uhl is the actual client experience coach on the planet. She's so amazing. She teaches you how to elevate your game when it comes to interacting with your client. And so we have a great conversation tomorrow about being a leader with your client and not a boss with your client. So I hope you'll join us, and I look forward to hearing and seeing your comments. Mostly Instagram and Facebook is where you can find me, Luann Nigara, on Instagram, and A Well-Designed Business on Facebook. All right, guys. That's it for today. Appreciate your showing up. Decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at luannigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.